Well, I think I've just been waiting to play basketball for a really long time now. You go through the preseason games, you go through a lot of training camp. It's been a few weeks now. I think you're just itching to get out there and really play like a real game. That's going to count towards your record. But I feel like I have a better understanding of how everything works.
Did you feel that subtle tremor beneath the surface of the WNBA? The Indiana Fever are at the center of a storm. And it's not just about Caitlyn Clark anymore. Sheryl Swoopes has unleashed her opinion on their recent moves, and it's got everyone talking. Comment down below Swoopes knows if you think she's hitting the nail on the head with her analysis. We want to hear all sides of this brewing controversy because what began as seemingly standard roster decisions has spiraled into a drama filled with pointed accusations, racial undertones, and questions that strike at the very heart of the league's evolving identity. This isn't just about basketball anymore, it's about power, perception, and a battle for the narrative. The first shockwave hit with the abruptness of a blindside screen. The Indiana Fever A team under a microscope, thanks to the arrival of Caitlyn Clark, made headlines for something other than their electrifying new point guard. They began trimming their roster, and the cuts were brutal. First, Bria Hall, the dynamic guard from South Carolina, a two-time national champion with a promising future, was let go. She'd barely had a chance to break a sweat in a Fever uniform with minimal preseason minutes before her dream was unceremoniously paused. The ink on her training camp contract had hardly dried. Fans who envisioned her dynamic play adding depth to the Fever roster were left stunned. How could a player with such a collegiate pedigree be dismissed so quickly without a real opportunity to showcase her talents on the professional stage? The silence from the Fever's front office was deafening, allowing speculation to run wild. But the axe wasn't done falling, not by a long shot. Just as the basketball world was processing Hall's departure, another name surfaced. Yvonne Ejim, the prolific scorer from Gonzaga, a player known for her heart and relentless motor, was also waived. Two highly touted rookies, both with glittering collegiate resumes and the kind of potential that scouts drool over, were shown the door before they could even find their footing in Indianapolis. The message, whether intended or not, was chillingly clear. The WNBA is a tough business, and the Indiana Fever, despite their newfound spotlight, were making some hard, perhaps even ruthless choices. For Hall and Ejim, it was a harsh introduction to the realities of professional sports, where talent alone doesn't guarantee survival. Their hopes, and the hopes of their supporters, were put on hold, leaving a bitter taste and a mountain of questions. What exactly was going on within the Fever organization to necessitate such swift, seemingly premature dismissals? The answer, it turns out, was buried in the fine print of contracts and the unforgiving nature of the salary cap. To truly understand the sting of these cuts, you have to peek behind the curtain at the Fever's financial tightrope walk. The team found itself in a precarious salary cap situation, a predicament largely stemming from the need to buy out hefty contracts from previous seasons, like the one belonging to Katie Lou Samuelson. This financial maneuvering, while necessary for long-term flexibility, left them with an incredibly tight budget for the current season. So tight, in fact, they could realistically only afford to carry 11, maybe 12 players on their active roster, less than many other teams. Compounding this issue was the fact that a significant portion of their roster spots were already locked up by veterans with guaranteed contracts. Players like Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Nalisa Smith, Erica Wheeler, and other established names weren't going anywhere. Their salaries were committed, meaning if they were cut, the team would still be on the hook financially. This created a brutal numbers game. When you deducted these guaranteed spots, the number of available positions for incoming rookies and training camp invitees dwindled to almost nothing. Essentially, Bria Hall, Yvonne Ejim, and even a drafted rookie like Celeste Taylor, who did make the team, were all locked in a fierce battle for perhaps a single remaining spot.
It wasn't only me, and Kilps and AB also did a lot of that too, and people were really excited to join, so that's special. You learn the league, you learn being a pro, you learn how to operate, because it is so different than college.
It was a high-stakes game of musical chairs, and when the music stopped, two promising careers were at least temporarily sidelined. While this explains the cold logic, it did little to often the blow for the players or quell the rising tide of unease. And that unease was about to find a very public voice. Just as the dust from the roster cuts began to settle, Sheryl Swoopes, a WNBA legend whose recent commentary has often courted controversy, stepped back into the spotlight with the subtlety of a freight train. It was as if she'd been waiting in the wings, microphone hot, ready for this exact moment. The news of Bria Hall's release, in particular, seemed to be the spark Swoopes needed, appearing on a prominent women's basketball show. She didn't just offer a casual opinion, she launched a verbal assault. And her primary target was Indiana Fever's head coach, Stephanie White. Swoopes didn't mince words, immediately questioning White's preseason strategy. Why, she demanded, was Bria Hall kept glued to the bench during crucial evaluation periods? If the team was genuinely trying to determine who deserved a spot, why wasn't a player with Hall's potential given ample opportunity to prove herself in game situations? Swoopes painted a picture of a flawed, perhaps even unfair, evaluation process, suggesting that Hall was never given a legitimate shot. Her tone wasn't just critical, it was accusatory, hinting that something more than just basketball decision-making was at play. The WNBA world leaned in. This was getting interesting and deeply uncomfortable. Swoopes didn't stop at questioning playing time. She dug deeper, aiming her critique directly at Coach Stephanie White's handling of player rotations and, by implication, the players who did receive significant minutes. She's specifically pointed to veteran Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall, questioning why they were seemingly prioritized over a rookie like Bria Hall, especially if roster spots were truly up for grabs. So what are we to make of this escalating drama? The Indiana Fever A-team, poised for a potentially historic season spearheaded by Caitlyn Clark, finds itself embroiled in a controversy that touches on issues of race, fairness, and the very soul of the WNBA. On one hand, Sheryl Swoopes. Fiery accusations about the handling of Bria Hall and the alleged preferential treatment of other players have undeniably struck a nerve, forcing uncomfortable conversations. Is she a whistleblower, courageously speaking truth to power and exposing potential inequities within the system? Or is her commentary a reflection of an older guard struggling to reconcile with a new era?
This is gonna be a spicy season, cause Kiki was like, "What, Sophie? Girl, don't come over here." Sophie was like,
I was
game
one.
Here for it. But the fact that's a rookie.
Perhaps using controversy to maintain her own platform? On the other hand, the Fever's decisions, viewed through the lens of brutal salary cap realities and the strategic need for veteran stability around a young superstar, appear more pragmatic, albeit harsh. This isn't just a simple dispute. It's a flashpoint in a league grappling with explosive growth and the cultural shifts that come with it. As the real season gets underway this preseason, heat promises to intensify the spotlight on Caitlyn Clark. And the Indiana Fever will only get brighter. And every win, every loss, every coaching decision will be scrutinized under this newly charged atmosphere. The old guard and the new school are clashing, and the reverberations will be felt far beyond the basketball court. What do you think is truly driving this conflict? And what does it spell for the future of the Fever in the WNBA. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.